Hello everyone and welcome to another podcast episode on M&D Fantasy Corner. I'm Duncan and with me, as always, is my friend Momo!
Hello everybody, I hope you are not mad that we missed last week's episode. I kinda was free, but God decided to not give us internet connection in that period of time when I was free, so we kinda had to skip last week.
But we are back now, and I just want to say something from community segment, even though it's not from our community. You know that 10 Very Big Books new podcast about Malazan?
Yes?
They have finished with Guardians of the Moon. They finished that segment. They are, I think, going to make few more episodes about it. But basically, their main podcast about it is finished. And I listened to all of episodes. It was amazing to me.
Are they going now for, book 2?
I think, like I said, I think they are going to do some, in between few episodes, overall impressions of Guardians of the Moon and stuff like that. But here is my point, man. I'm so happy because now we have 2 Malazan podcasts going on. There's amazing Reddit community that's fairly active. I'm kind of lurking on Reddit, very often. And it's very, very active subreddit. Even though, community is not huge, number-wise, it's very active and, very helpful.
Malazan community in general, even though it's not as big as some other fantasy community, I think it's much more active.
Yes, for some reason, I don't know why, but that makes me happy. And we also have one of the best map makers, but there's always something negative with it. I saw on Reddit, there are some scums who take maps of Malazan and selling their prints or something. And that's so insane to me, that would people do something why don't you pay artists to make those maps, give them percentage or something? Why do you have to be such a scum? I will never understand that.
Man, they are always assholes. But I have a question for you about that podcast. I forgot what is the name of that girl in that podcast.
India.
Is she still hating book or she maybe grew to love it?
I'm not really sure, she's half. Sometimes she likes something, sometimes she really hates it. But it's Guardians of the Moon, man, what can you expect? Maybe they will warm up more, in That House Gates or something.
Probably. Unless, she happy endings, then, That House Gates will not be nice for her, man.
Thing is, to me, what was refreshing about that podcast is actually seeing how, somebody who just read Malazan, it's so different, man. You and me, we are trying to cater this podcast to new readers, but we are not, I realized by listening their podcast, we are not doing perfect job, because you and me, we can never be I don't know, we cannot be in shoes of somebody who's reading first time. And sometimes we maybe explain something a little bit too much.
Yes, I agree there, but also, man, I cannot put myself in shoes of somebody who never read this book, because I forgot how was that feeling. We are doing that, for example, for our Stormlight podcast. And it's natural because, you didn't read and I explained to you and everything is fine. But I cannot remember when I was first time reading Guardians of the Moon or whatever book. I don't remember, what was I thinking here. So, we do best we can, basically.
Yeah, basically. But, that podcast opened my eyes. But, I think it's nice that we have 2 different styles. So that's a plus.
Of course. I mean, even if it was same style, I would still like if there are more podcasts.
Yeah, but shall we now maybe start with our episode?
Actually, we can. This time we decided to do 4 chapters. I don't know, how do you wanna start? With whose part? Tok?
Yeah, because chapter 12 was only about Tok. Do you wanna shoot?
Man, there are a couple of things that are important here, but some things that are not important, but I found them interesting. How Erikson described that even somebody who is a good guy, as Tok is, even he, if you push him hard enough, he can become mindless beast. Because man, I think he was one step from becoming the part of that fucking cannibal rabble. He just needed, like to see somebody, eating somebody and he would join. I really think he was at that point.
Yeah, I think he was pretty close as well. Like hunger was taking over him.
And we know, a thing is, man, we know Tok. We know what kind of man he is. And when you see somebody like Tok get degraded to this, you maybe start thinking, man, maybe even I would, become this mindless beast if I was in this situation. I think, there is beast in every of us. In every human being there is potential to be this mindless beast. You just, need the right push.
I think hunger is really, really good push. I think everybody would succumb at some point. Or, you would die.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, but now let's talk about Panion Seer. There is enough information here for us to figure out who he is. He's Jagut. He has green tint. It's clearly that he's Jagut. He has Jagut power. But not only is he Jagut, there is also some different power going through him. Like he's connected to this different power. And later that's even more explained. It's basically chaos power. And so now we know basically what he represents. He's Jagut who's tainted by Cripple God. And he tosses Tok inside of some place where he's embraced by some reptilian. And we learn about later a little bit more about who this reptilian is. It's a matron basically, it's a mother. I think that's enough explanation for now. Maybe if you wanna add something.
Yes, I just wanna add something that Kalor explained in chapter 15, that, nobody can control. Just the fact that these Kel hunters, these Kachen Chamale with swords for hands, that we see them, means that there is Kachen Chamale mother around, alive, because nobody else could command those guys. So, that is the first thing. Later little bit we will talk about how Kachen Chamale were, about their society little bit. But also, I think we already mentioned that Tok eyes are special. He is the only one who could see this Jagut inside the seer.
Yes, and I also want to ask first-time readers, and if you get this correct, congratulations. But here it's implied that Panion Seer was already interested, and even Anaster, they were both interested in Tok. So my question to you guys is why? If you were paying close attention to so far of this story, there is possibility that you could figure that out. I don't want to reveal it, but there is definitely reason why they were interested in Tok.
Yes, and Seer even say one very important sentence to Tok. He say, the one within you ready is for its rebirth. The beast throne is vacant, neither you nor that beast God can match my strength. So this is some beast god. And there are enough hints and there are enough wolves mentioned so far that maybe you can guess who this is. But we will not spoiler you for now. And also I wanna mention that fucking Envy and company are breaking armies of Seer with ease. And they are coming.
There are basically two armies. You have an Amander Rake on the north side, and all that company and Kapustan. And on the south you have like 5 people and 2 dogs. And Panion Seer seems to be more afraid of that southern army.
I honestly think that, Anomander, Brood and company are stronger than those guys, but they are not unleashing their magic. But Envy is unleashing.
Okay, shall we now jump into chapter 13?
Yeah, we can.
Okay, so here is another question for everybody. But this is more, it's not like a puzzle or anything. This is just question about observation and, from reading first, second book. I think second actually book. Do you see guys now why this trader Trigale, I don't know how to pronounce this,
Trigale.
why they are, important, why they are epic, and why they are expensive.
And why they are crazy, man. I fucking died laughing at that part when demon attacked them. Demons attacked them in fucking that warren or whatever, and they are saying he tried just, to get out. He didn't attack us, for any other reason. He was just trying to, leave with us this warren. And one of them saying, but, we offer him partnership, but he didn't sign the Weaver. But they are crazy, I swear.
Man, just think about this. Quick Ben is afraid of traveling through wardens. Everybody, like every important mage is, and these guys are delivering like huge amount of supplies to huge army through wardens that are poisoned.
Yes, man, these guys are really, really crazy. I really don't understand. I mean, everybody who works for this trade guild is kind of partner. But, they can do this only because shitload of them die on every delivery.
How convenient.
Yes, very convenient for the rest of partners. But before anything else in this chapter, it's nothing important. It's just another show of what kind of man Whiskey Jack is. I don't know if you remember when he met those two female marines that decided to protect Silver Fox, and just his conversation with them, and how natural he is, and how without any effort they are so loyal to him, and he's not even trying.
But here there was a little snippet of why that is. Did you see how he got on the level of those two soldiers? How he got them?
Yes, man, he showed his human side.
And he's not faking it, man. That was natural.
Man, you cannot fake that. No, people would see through you eventually. You need to be genuine.
But yeah, I mean, I 100% agree. But shall I now just speak two little details, two little informations that you guys should get from this chapter? One is about color, and another is about Maib.
Yeah, go.
Okay, so now here we see one of the reasons apparently why color is basically not man walking with a cane yet. So he's using some alchemies. There are some century candles. I'm not sure if this is first time that there is mention of those, but basically he's dabbling in alchemies. And that's how he's apparently this old. There are possible other theories about that, but for now we have this information. And here's my question for you, man. What about Cripple God's house? House of Chains. What do you think about it now? That they have Kalor as king, Getol as herald. Do you like that?
This is the thing, man, honestly. At this point when I was first reading, I wasn't impressed. Because, I thought Kalor is meh. But, at around book 8, 9, I'm not sure what, I realized how strong Kalor is. For example, if you had my knowledge at this, point in time in book, you would be, you would think that House of Chains is already very, very formidable.
I mean, but so far we were giving strong hints that Kalor is an extremely powerful person.
Yes, but we didn't see him really in action. All we saw from him now was Whiskey Jack slapping him around and Quick Ben tossing him in some holes. He didn't do anything too impressive so far.
Okay, so here's another little detail that you guys should notice, and I hope that you notice so far. In my dreams, she was held by huge undead dragon soul taken, and now this dragon, you guys probably connected as to who this dragon is, but it's referred to as her. So now we know that this is one of the probably strongest bone caster, and that it's female. So now if you guys want, you can go read before those chapters where this dragon was shown, especially on the ship Silanda. So that's her.
Yes, it's it was fairly obvious that it's same dragon. But also I wanna talk little bit about Corlett and Whiskey Jack conversation about nature of war between them and Tistandi. How it was kinda gentleman war, man. I really got some, warm feeling when I was reading about about this conversation. How they were kind of polite to each other, how they were allowing each other to retreat, how they were, burying their dead.
This is the part, and now, I might be ignorant here, and I would love if some true historian would explain this to me, but I feel that this was probably the biggest fantasy part of Erikson so far. I think this thing that do not exist in reality.
No, it's not. No, it's not true, man. I read some accounts, for example, even in World War II, that in African campaign, what was his name? I think his name was Rommel. He was German general, and he was fighting against some British, and it was very gentlemanly war. They were allowing each other, to retreat. They were not killing prisoners. It was not quite like this, but very similar. So there were instances of shit like this, but of course very, very rare.
Okay, I stand corrected.
Also, man, Whiskey Jack finally gets some ass.
But maybe also Korlat gets some too, if you flip it on that side. I think she was more...
I don't give a fuck, man.
I think she was more like... What's the word? I know perfect word in our language.
She was thirsty.
Oh yeah, but I think she was more thirsty.
I know, man, I think it was another way around. But she was so out of his league that Whiskey Jack, even though he was thirsty, he didn't even try because he thought he doesn't have chance. Because Korlat is described, man, as fucking beautiful.
Man, that would be also cool if in our planet there were like different type of species. Like humans are kinda boring. Yeah, we come in all kinda colors, but when it comes down to it, we are basically all the same. It would be nice if there are some Tisti Yendi around.
Man, here is the thing. That would just mean that there are more than one species who can reject me. So that would be devastating for me.
In my eyes, 1 is better than 0, and 2 is better than 1. Even in rejections. But yeah, shall we now go to chapter 14?
Yeah, I think we can. We are bound to forget something, but fuck it. Let's go chapter 14.
Okay, so before this chapter there is a little text, and I want you guys to pay attention to this text, and here is a question for you all. Who was supposed to be Destriant and Fenner? Again, if you were listening to this podcast and you do not know this, I would be very, very disappointed. And I hope that first time readers will write.
Seriously, guys, if you don't get this right, fuck you. You are failure.
Well, not really. Okay, not really. Are you scaring our listeners, man? Come on.
I'm kidding, guys, but this is fairly easy.
But yeah, I wrote a couple of things here. It was really hard chapter. This is one of those chapters where few people will cry when you realize that, for example, Stony is raped, and how Gruntle is kinda consoling her, but they are both kinda breaking. It was a sad scene.
I'll just say this, man. Don't fucking piss Gruntle. Because honestly, if Gruntle wasn't pissed, I think this siege would be over first night. But Gruntle fucking, he raped them. And not only that, man, he kinda, inspired those civilians to fight.
If this was MMO, what class would be Gruntle?
Oh man, warrior.
Something like that, or maybe captain, because captains usually have those inspiring skills.
But he definitely is connected with Treach.
I think that he is living proof that Treach is basically ascending.
Yes. But who else is fucking... I really don't wanna, fuck with these guys. More and more I see them, more and more I don't wanna fuck with them. Fucking Corbal, Broach and Bauchalane.
Oh yeah, this is the first time that we see that they are actually soul takens, and that they already kinda know everything. Keruli and Buke were trying kinda to prevent them from killing and trick them, and these guys are like, why are you doing that? Why? It's futile. You cannot stop us. We will do what we wanna do.
Man, imagine how strong you have to be that you feel confident enough to attack like army of almost 500,000 people to catch their leader. Because they tried that. I mean, they failed. But they were confident enough that they can pull it off. And they were surprised when they failed.
Man, I would feel fear after that because, chaos energy, chaos Warren is really powerful. And they are not afraid. Did you saw in the end Korbal? He's like angry. He's, stomping that coat that was burnt. Like they are angry at failure. They are not afraid.
They are scary. Another thing that I wanna talk about is Keruli wanna take his position in this mass council, and he mentioned that there is traitor among them.
Yes, so this will be assignment for you first time readers. Who is traitor? Can you figure it out?
Is that question for me? Because I can.
Shut
because
up.
I'm smart.
Shut up.
Oh, you are so mean, man.
Okay, so shall we go with chapter 15?
You know who else is thirsty, man? Just before we move to chapter 15.
Shoot, who?
I mean, Hettan is always thirsty, but man, Itkovian is getting thirstier by the minute.
Oh yeah. I cannot understand people who decide on their own volition to be celibates.
Man, I am celibate too, but not of my own volition, that's the thing. I'm trying not to be, but it's not working.
Okay, but before this podcast turn into different kind of podcast, shall we go back on tracks?
Yeah, let's go chapter 15, and this is kinda by far richest chapter of all of these.
Okay, so now a little bit of world building. I wanna speak a little bit about Kchench and Male and how they worked, at least according to Kalur. So basically they are matriarchal, in a sense, like, can you imagine guys bees? Like they have one queen and she is the main cog in a system. And they were breeding. But here's important thing, they were breeding kinda selectively. Like they were breeding for what they need. So this would tell you that this society, like for example our dinosaurs, we are pretty sure were kinda brainless beasts who were just, too powerful for competition. But these, Eriksons, some sort of dinosaurs, they are not. There are clues and hints here that they are extremely intelligent and they are extremely powerful. So they have the queen and they are breeding for what they need. But in this frenzy, they tried to kinda awaken something primal, something different. And they were breeding these so-called short tails. And these short tails, apparently they were nasty. So I don't know if you got something to add.
One very important thing, man, this sentence. And within this Maton resided the sorcerer's capacity of her entire family. This is very important thing because she is breeding all pretty much like they had cities basically, but is how I figure it out. And all her children, she has power of all of them together. Imagine that power, man.
But do you know what this actually made me think? Something about our world, our real life. Like imagine how in past, for example, how dinosaurs were, how they were, nothing could stand in their way. And they ruled the world. And mammals were basically just a food for them. And they couldn't really grow because, they were, when you are food, there is no progress. But somehow, everything comes to an end. And for example, in our planet right now, we are we are undisputed rulers. We are on top of the chain on our planet. And so, they usually say in Erikson worlds, when somebody is ruling, there are tyrants. They are kind of tyrants. But are we tyrants? What do you feel?
Of course we are, man. That's easy question. Question is, would we be tyrants too if there was some species that was also very intelligent, like comparable to us but somehow below us? I think we would still be tyrants to them. I mean, we were tyrants to our own people, man. We had slavery and shit like that. So, it's out of the question that, we are tyrants. We 100% are.
To be fair, I think humans are biggest tyrants of them all. Like even compared to, for example, jaguar tyrants. Look at what we do with food, what we do with animals, like cattle, chicken. I mean, I'm not vegetarian or anything like that, but like when you think about it, we are caging these animals, we are breeding them just to be food. Then we are, we are destroying everything for cities. Like, we don't care about the environment. We are polluting rivers, we are polluting seas, fish are dying, air, birds are dying. Like we are.
Yes, but if it's trust, if we are to trust in Erikson, that this would imply that soon, not soon, but eventually we will stop existing, and there will be, somebody else who will, be on top after we are gone, and they will, and they will become dominant, they will become arrogant, and then eventually they will, destroy themselves also, and so on and so on.
And that's what I came to same conclusion as you, but I want to ask you, who is going to raise after our demise?
I don't know, to be honest, man. Probably some monkeys.
Monkeys?
Who would you think?
I don't know, that was such a boring answer. Because, it makes sense, but I'm thinking, can you imagine mice ruling the world?
No. I mean, monkeys are only a short step behind us. But, I'm not sure. Maybe dolphins even, but they don't have hands. And your brain is useless if you don't have fucking hands.
Yeah, guys, you can tell us, what do you think once we humans perish? Once asteroid or something comes and destroy us, probably something smaller than us will come to rule the world.
I really don't know. But also I wanna mention this, man. That the rent at Morn, that is the place where Kilava brought those two Jagut children.
Yes, but now we know why there was Matron inside of it.
Yes, and why what actually that rent is. It's definitely not what Kilava thought that it's Omtos Pelak, but it's fucking chaos, man.
Yeah, so basically, according to Kalor's tale, they fucked up so badly with these short tales that they were desperate enough to look salvation in chaos. And this Warren is basically that attempt. And when they realized that was really bad idea, they tried to close it and they plugged Matron inside of it. And there are so many events connected to this.
That everything is making sense. Who is that torturing poor Tok now?
I wonder.
But when I, like, as I already mentioned this couple of times. First, when I was starting reading this book, I was thinking, this will be boring book, man. Anomander Egg, Brood, Silver Fox, Whiskey, Jack, Dujak, they are all together. Who can stop them? This will be boring. But more and more I was reading, I was getting more worried and worried. But at this part, man, when Whiskey Jack is speaking with, asking Silver Fox, if after this is over, will you help us against this next threat? And Silver Fox say no. And he's like, why not? And she's like, you ask too much of us. Like, that new enemy is not somebody like Tlanimas can defeat. And at that moment, man, not only that I got afraid, but did you saw that Whiskey Jack, Dujak, they got fucking scared shitless.
Okay, so here's my question now that you talked about this. What do you guys think? Who has the best, let's call it plan. Who has the best plan to deal, not to defeat, to deal with this threat? Can you guess it? And if you guess it right now, guys, you get the medal.
Either one of two guys can be.
No, you don't get to guess. I'm asking first time readers.
Why not?
You want medals?
Yes. I want
no,
something,
you don't,
man, in my life. I have nothing. Give me something.
You get nothing. You lose.
Fuck you, man. Why are you so mean? Oh man, but did you saw Kruppe dealing with Brood?
Man, that scene is one of the candidates, and I wanna, remind you, are you rating best scene from each book so far?
Of course not, man. Of course not. I will do it in last moment.
But don't tell me this wasn't one of those candidates.
That was one of those unexpected scenes. I really didn't. I mean, I knew that there is more to Krupp than he let on. I knew that he's genius, but I didn't know that he can fucking withstand Brood's hammer.
Oh, but man, I was looking for a picture of this event, and there are some pictures. Because to me, honestly, this is one of the most memorable things that I ever read, especially in this book. And this scene, I wanted, to find picture that is kind of wide. And that's the picture that I wanted to use for this book as our background. But I couldn't find. There is some like square picture. It's too small. But really, I so love this scene. I don't know. I don't know why. It's very memorable to me.
This was not only but this was Krupp, like statement. Fuck cripple God, I can deal with him.
So he is one of the candidates. Maybe he has the plan how to deal with him.
Yes, and other is you guys all know who other one is. It's all he. The other guy is always the guy with the plan. And even Whiskey Jack say that if Krupp is maybe smartest wall genius, then the other guy is one short step behind him, a very short step.
Even if you get this right, I'm not giving you any medal.
Because I gave too much.
No, not because you gave too much, but because, you read the books. This is question for people who, but it's wonderful. I want you guys to, play around.
But not only that, man, what happened when Brood smashed that hammer? Fucking blood of burn.
Oh, it's nasty. It's poisoned.
But I think that is it for this. Now we finally know who this threat is. This threat of this Panion Seer is basically Jagut, who has some connection with Kachain Chamale Matron, and they have some connection to Cripple God. It's fucked up combo, guys. You don't wanna face this shit, basically.
And shall we end the episode on this note?
Yes, I think this is a good place to end the episode. I really hope you guys will enjoy it. See ya hopefully next week. I think we are now in good position to not miss any more episodes. So, again, hope to see you guys next week.